Hey everyone, it's Kimberly and we are back with our evening lives. And I have some new projects here in the workshop. So I'm going to give everybody a moment, sit a spell and see if we have anyone come on with us here while we are getting started. I think I broke my Mr. bottle. Well, there it goes. Pop it back on. I use my Mr. bottle a lot, and I thought maybe that I had dropped it one too many times. You know how that is. Sometimes I drop it. Anyway, we have started on, now that we finished the hall tree, we have started on this new set here in the garage. This is a 5-piece set made by Dixie Furniture. And as you can see, it is the red cherry style furniture. Obviously, you can tell here that I've taken the hardware off. This came in over the weekend, and we are about to get underway painting this. Now, if you're new to our page, my name is Kimberly. I am work in the furniture world, if you will. I am a furniture paint artist for Dixie Belle Chalk Paint here in Kernersville, North Carolina. And my business is Unique Finds and Furniture Designs. And I really enjoy working with Dixie Belle paint products and rehab and doing new transformations on different furniture for clients. There's always some challenges out there that we face from different aspects of the globe, from just painting to doing more artistic work on things with transfers and embellishments and those sort of things. So the latest piece that you saw go out was pretty much just a paint job, if you will. And on this one, we're also doing some paint, some gilding waxes, some things of that nature, not necessarily doing a transfer on this set for the client that I am working on. So we have 2 dressers, we have the mirror here, and we have the headrail and footrail to the set. So all 5 pieces will be going over those. And I'm going to just kind of tell you, kind of start from finish. I did get a jump start on this, however, Monday I got started on this project, so this is Tuesday. And so the day when you guys were not with me, I did clean my furniture with the White Lightning cleaner, which I must have taken into the house. So the first thing I always do, I always tell you guys that if you are new here, welcome, thank you for joining. I'm Kimberly, and so I have gotten started already on this project. So I did clean it with White Lightning cleaner really well, and while I was cleaning it, I used a Scotch-Brite while I was doing that. And let me see if I have one under here. So when I clean, I use a scouring pad or a Scotch-Brite, and what that does, it helps take some of the shine down. Now it does look like you're seeing a little sheen on here. Actually, the sheen that you're seeing on here is the boss that I have put on. So I did put that on prior to our live. So I cleaned it really well. I lightly sanded it. I used the Scotch-Brite to sand with. So I missed it and I Scotch-Brite it, and that kind of helps take the shine down. It does a lot of things. It takes the shine down, it cleans your piece, and it sort of just gets your piece pre-sanded, so degloss, pre-sanded, and that sort of thing. Hey Melissa, how are you, hon? Hang in there. I hate to hear about your little puppy. I'm so sorry. I wish there was something you could do in those cases, but I know a lot of times it just isn't. But the length of time that he had with you, I'm sure, was the top line that he could have possibly had. A mama like you to care for him and love him so much. So, and my thoughts and feelings are with you. I apologize. I hate that for you. But just to kind of recap, we did clean it. We sanded it. We cleaned it with the scouring pad, and then I came in and I put our Dixie mud on it. All these little scratches that you see here are from puppy dogs that have jumped up on it and scratched it. So I came in here and I did use, it's called Dixie mud. So you can see this is a filler compound. So this filler compound gets super, super hard. So when you clean it and you wipe it back down, you let it dry. I always let everything dry overnight, or I try to. Sometimes it doesn't always work that way. It depends on how in a hurry I am, but I try not to. I try to make sure I get my steps in. So I got this all cleaned, and then I came in and I put my Dixie mud on. Now this, you can still see these little fine scratches, and I'll pull you in so you can kind of see. You can see the little fine scratches on here from the, apparently a puppy dog, a big dog stood up here and scratched this all up. So I always tell you guys, rule of thumb is, obviously I could feel all these gouges and scratches prior to putting my mud on, the Dixie mud. After I let that mud harden, yesterday we were fortunate here in North Carolina to have really hot weather. I bet it was 80 some degrees yesterday. So I had the door up, and so it was very warm, and this is mud in these corners. So this was, pardon me, chipped veneer. You can kind of see where it's chipped there. But if you put that mud on and you sand it, after it's cured, it gets really, really hard, just like a Bondo would do. So this is not a structural area, which I have said, if I was using Bondo, I use Bondo in structural areas where we have issues. This is not necessarily a structure issue, it's an aesthetic issue. So I came in here and I did put my Dixie mud on and I sanded it. So if I run my finger across this, you can't feel that anymore. So before it was a chipped edge, and so now you can't feel a chipped edge. So when you paint it, if you can feel it with your finger, rule of thumb, now when you put your paint on, you're gonna see it. So so make sure if you feel it with your finger in any way, you're probably gonna see it with your eye. Now the one good thing about Dixie Belle chalk paint is it is a self-leveling paint, so sometimes you can get by with minor imperfections, and the Dixie Belle will hide it because it's self-leveling. So not every single time it will, but there are incidents where it will hide some of this. But this was a little bit deeper than it needed to be, so I did use my mud. And I'm wondering, this is also, I'm gonna bring you around the corner here and show you maybe around the corner on this piece. So along in here, it was apparently rubbed up against something really bad, and you can see, maybe I can get you guys down here, and I don't know if it'll let me turn the camera. So I'm gonna try to get you along this edge here. So you can kind of see also along this edge where the puppy dog or something had scratched the Holy Bejesus out of this piece. So I did come in here and I did fill all of that with our Dixie mud. I let it get really dry and hard, and then I came back and sanded it down so that I can't feel it with my hand. You can still see it with the eye right now, but when we put our paint on, you won't. So I just want to kind of jump in there and show you guys. Sorry for the bobble, because I have to move my camera around in order for you guys to see what we're doing there. So in the process, all of these pieces got some Dixie mud on them because of the fact they had some scratching going on in it. So I just wanted to let you know that. Hey Mary, hope you are doing well. This is Miss Debbie's furniture that I'm working on. Mary used to work for Miss Debbie, and I used to work for Miss Debbie. So we used to work in ultrasound over at XL Imaging now. Back in the day, it was Maplewood Imaging. So this is actually my old boss's, I don't want to call her old boss, but my previous boss, maybe that sounds better, my previous boss's furniture. So this is her 5-piece bedroom set that I'm working on right now. So, Mary knows who I've been speaking of, Miss Debbie. So I'm going to be working on her pieces for the next couple of days here. The thing is, when you get these pieces in and you get to this point, so we've cleaned them already, so that was one round on all 5 pieces. Round 2 was getting all of your Bondo or your Dixie mud on and your filler and sanding all that down. That's round 2. Round 3 was I did apply our bleed blocker. So this is Dixie Belle's Boss, and this is for bleed through. Anytime you guys see, and you guys know I preach this because I don't want you to get disappointed with your products. If you are working with anything that has this red cherry look to it, mahogany, cherry, that sort of furniture, you're going to need this bleed blocker, because if you don't put it on, it's going to bleed back pink through your paint. And you're not going to notice tonight. You're going to get it all painted. You're going to walk inside. You're going to come back out tomorrow, and you're going to have pink bleeding through your paint. And so it's always a good idea when you see this kind of furniture. I never skip a step when it comes to that. So you can't see it on here, and the reason you can't see it on here is because this is the clear. So this is our Boss Clear, and it is for bleed, odor, that sort of thing. So mold, mildew, those kind of things. Hey, Miss Debbie, I am working on your furniture. I was just telling Miss Mary that I was working on your pieces. So this is what our broadcast is about tonight, working on these pieces and going through these steps. So once you clean it really good, you get your Dixie mud on here. So that's our second round. Now this is my third round on all 5 of these pieces, putting on our Boss. Now the Boss is very important when you have red cherry wood, mahogany, like I said, any kind of wood that it has this red tint to it, you're gonna wanna put your bleed blocker on it. Now, since Miss Debbie has picked out the Bunker Hill Blue, this is a dark color, and the pigmentation in it is pretty strong. So the probability of it coming through this color is probably not, it's not necessarily gonna happen, but it can happen. So definitely if you're going with a lighter color, you always wanna put it on. But you guys know me, I'm always going to do above what I might need to do, just so I don't have to do it again, because I don't want it to bleed through. I don't want it to come back out and be disappointed with my paint because of the fact it's bleeding through. It has nothing to do with your paint, but it has everything to do with the stain that they put on these pieces back in the day. So you want to be careful of making sure that you get your Boss on here. And yes, I know you can't see it on here because I use clear. So all you're seeing is the mud here, Boss is on it. So the Boss is also going to work for me is to kind of prime these places that I filled, so that it will kind of block them from showing once I paint over them. So it's going to create a little primer for me on that too. So yes, I took all the hardware off. I'm going to paint it, clean the hardware, and get that back up on. So I did get all 5 pieces sort of prepped, if you will. Today I finished this dresser and the other dresser behind me with their stain blocker, which is the Boss. And tonight I'm actually going to get started on the headboard and footboard and see if we can't add some color now. Finally getting to some color. So we did 1 step cleaning, next step put on your mud, then your next step obviously sand it down. So all 5 pieces, that's 3 times. Now I'm on my 4th. Now I'm fixing to do the 5th run on these pieces. And then we will put 2 coats of paint on, and then we'll put a top coat on. So by the time you're done, you will have probably painted these probably 5 to 6 times a piece when you're working, not painted, but work on each piece individually. So I'm going to leave this piece here since I did put the Boss on this only a few hours ago. I'm not going to mess with it because I'm going to let it kind of sit. And I'm going to work on the headboard and footboard, which is the first 2 pieces that I actually got bossed. So they are a few hours ahead. And since it's been a little cool today, I like to leave things set overnight. When I did the mud on here, this did sit overnight. I didn't try to sand it until today so that I knew it was good and hard. And since it was nice and warm yesterday, it wasn't so bad. But today, it's rainy, it's damp, and so I got a little heater running in here so that I can make certain that this is going to have its cure time on. So the big pieces are going to sit. I'm going to not get into those right now, but I am going to work on the headboard and footboard because they're several hours ahead of the rest of these pieces, as well as the mirror beside me. So I'm going to let all of that kind of sit, and I'm going to bring in one of our pieces, our footboard or our head. I think I'll bring the headboard in just because, sorry, I have to go out. I am limited space here, and some of these pieces are a little bit bigger. So let me try not to knock everything over. Sorry about getting in your view. And also, I am gonna lock my door there so that my family don't come bursting in and knock everything over that I'm working on. So this is the headboard that I'm working on. And so I did have to make a few repairs here so that, so you wouldn't notice it when I paint, because I wanted it to look nice. There's a couple of areas here that were sort of gouged. I'm not sure with by what. But anyway, I filled those as well. Now this whole piece has also been blocked with our boss. So every single piece, when you're working with cherry wood, needs to be blocked with a stain blocker because you don't want to be disappointed. And so we're going to be working with the Bunker Hill Blue. And I got some up there and I got some here. And I also have, what I do with my spray bottle. And I'm working with my round brush. I find that the oval medium round brush works really good when you're working on curves on these beautiful headboards with these curves all around. So you're going to want a little different brush versus your flat brush. For all the open area, your flat brush will work fine, but I'm going to use my oval medium tonight because I am going to be working with all these curves. And you're about to see how wonderful the paint covers, for one, and then you're going to see the coverage as well as how beautiful this furniture really is. Sometimes the beauty is sort of hidden in furniture because of the style, of the age of the piece. So I am going to get started so you guys can kind of see that. And if you have any questions for me, just shoot them at me. I am more than happy. Let's see if I could squeeze myself a little bit more room here. Being careful here with this mirror and the piece behind me. So you can tell I'm working in kind of a confined area here with these, but I'm not going to use water on my piece for my first coat. I always go straight with the paint straight out of the can on my first coat. On your second coat, then you can mist your piece with water, a real fine mist, and that'll just help your paint go on and glide better. But since this is my first coat always gets the pure paint, if you will. So I don't really thin my paint in any way, shape, or form when I am doing this. So I'm going to bring you guys in. Sorry for the bobble. I'm going to bring you in so you can kind of see how this is going to go on. Maybe I can slide this down just a little bit further. Sorry guys. I'm going to put this up. I want to get over here so you can see these spindles and see how that's going to play out on this piece. I think you can see pretty good here. And you guys will just have to tell me if you can or not. But I'm going to work in this area and just kind of show you how. Of course, we're working with Bunker Hill Blue, which is a nice pigment color. So I'm just going to come in here. Now this paint, this color will tend to dry a little bit darker than a lot of paints, dry lighter. Dixie Belle paint does not dry lighter. It kind of has a little darker color to it when it dries. So, so that's when you know you got good paint. It dries darker instead of lighter. So, obviously you can see when you're working with all these little grooves in this, how the little round brush actually works better. This is an oval medium, and how it works a little bit better when you're working on your pieces. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm just going to come in here and slowly get started on this 5-piece set. I will be working on it for a little while, but I'm just going to kind of lean that back in there, and that way you guys can kind of see what we're doing here. So I'm going to do the front here so that you guys can just kind of see where we're going. So the process takes a little bit of time. The cleaning, you guys, don't get discouraged. A lot of times, you'll find mold and mildew and different things on pieces. Just take your time. It pays to get them really clean first so that you can, I'm not gonna do the back, I'll turn the thing around when we do it. Get it really, really clean so that your mud goes on nice. It just will save you a lot of hassle in the long run. So these were cleaned, scrubbed with a scrubby. Let's see, pull this back out so that I'm not getting it on the dresser below. So this gives you kind of an idea of the color. And this is the Bunker Hill Blue. So I don't know if you guys can kind of see, maybe you can, my arm is in the way, I bet. So you're gonna see how this just kind of changes the look of this bed set when you start adding paint to it. And so when you're doing the little round spindle area, maybe I can bring you in, let's see. I don't think it's gonna let me do it that way. So when you're working on these little spindle areas in here, this is when this little brush works really well. So you can kind of just go. A lot of times I tell you to go with the grain. Since the spindle, these are going up and down, I go up and down, and when I'm on these, I kind of go sideways around so that it kind of flows with the work of the piece. So these are a little bit time consuming, obviously, when you're working with headboards and footboards and that sort of thing. Just kind of take your time with it. It's just kind of a labor of love, if you will. And now you can get all your little bitty, I tried to get all the big imperfections out of this piece, but there are areas that have some little bumps and nicks from life. You may see along the edge. Chances are you're not going to see them. You're not going to be able, obviously, to get every single little bump in the road out of these pieces, but the majority of it you're not going to see. So I'm going to put you back so that you can see in visual here. I don't know why I can't get my thing to work with me there. Hey Michelle, how are you? Didn't hear from you today. Hope you're well. Hope Katie got off well, or everything is going okay there. Just adding some paint to this headboard. And yes, I will be here a while. This is not going to happen overnight, obviously. It'll take time because I am hand painting everything. Let me get out of this chair. So it does take a little bit more time when you are hand painting versus spraying. I have a sprayer, but I don't have a fine sprayer. I feel like it's more of a blap on and a blap off sprayer. And for this kind of work, I would really suggest more of a fine sprayer if you're going to spray. It would make your job easier, obviously, if you had a sprayer and you were going to spray it. Probably just as likely, though, that you could get runs and different things, because when you're spraying, you have to have a lot of control. And you have to be pretty good at it. And most people that spray are most of the time pretty good at it. So I'm going to keep going on so that you can see the blue coming in. And I'm just going to go right on and continue. Hopefully you guys can see. I'm not sure I got you backed up enough. I don't know why my camera. So I'm going to put y'all down a little bit. So hang on with me. I'm going to lower this camera. I think maybe that's my problem. Ooh. Let's see if that'll help. Sorry if you had to look at the top of my head. Maybe that'll help y'all. Hey Terry. So I hope everybody's doing good. I hear that maybe we're going to be back up and running, maybe some. We're going to try and see maybe how things are going. Government-wise, well, I want to say government-wise, I mean state-wise. We are ready. I think the average American is ready to get the ball rolling. I mean, yes, we know we have to go slow at it, but the fact that we're going and getting going, I think is a real plus right now, because I think a lot of us are just ready to see that happen. I know the kids are ready. They're off the hook, missing their friends, wanting to get out there. And I am just applying paint now. You see the white on here. This is the Dixie mud that I put in to make the repairs. And what you're not seeing, because it is clear, is the boss. And I did boss this. So because this is the red, sorry guys that you're seeing the back of my head. Because this is that red wood, that red cherry, you know what's going to happen. So if this is your pieces and you've got your bedroom set that your grandma will sit down to you, you guys want to take your time, do it right, clean it really well. Make sure you use your white lightning cleaner because it's going to degloss it. It's going to take the shine down, in other words. It's going to prep it if you're using that Scotch-Brite that I was telling you about. And it's going to get your piece all ready to go for you guys. I'm going to back you up so you guys can see. Maybe you can see the bigger picture there. So I did this whole bottom, and I'm going to get out of your way so you can kind of see how that's looking, so you can kind of see where we're going. And I'm going to stop right there, and I'm going to come in over here and continue on. So I'm painting right over the Dixie mud now, because the Dixie mud is hardened, it's dry, I sanded it, and I've bossed it. So you got to get in all these little details. That's when this little brush comes in handy. I know sometimes it feels a little heavy on the hand, but it definitely works good when you are doing the round in these little narrow areas. So like I said, not every little tiny imperfection is going to be missing in these pieces. You'll see some imperfections or flaws, if you will. Hopefully you won't see as many, since I have come in and done some of the prep work on some of the heavy gouges. Look how the paint's just covering right over that. That's what I'm saying. I want to kind of not let this slip. So it will, now on this open area, if it were me, I would probably take a little bit bigger brush so that your job doesn't take quite as long. But for me, I'm okay with it. I'm so used to painting with this brush, kind of comfortable. You know, you get comfortable with different pieces. Now I did have some extensive work to do right there, but and the paint dries relatively quick. So our paint is pretty quick drying paint. Now when I say I'm going to add 2 coats onto this, I will be putting 2 coats on, but I will not be putting 2 coats on in the same day. You definitely want to let your paint sit overnight and give it some cure time. So I'm just going to keep going here so you guys can see. Again, if you have any questions, just shoot them at me. So I tried to make the repair around this piece so that it would be more, not quite so, I don't know if you guys saw, I put some pictures out this morning where it was kind of missing some stuff there, but hopefully we'll get her looking good. So this is my first coat. So basically with your first coat, you want to just get your all over coverage and get your coats on, so that, you know, when you come in and put your second coat on, you have a little bit more, keeping the lines all going in the same direction, that sort of thing. So I'm just going to continue on over these. There were some heavy Not sure what they are as far as the gouges are concerned. They look like scratch marks to me, so you know it happens. Things get shuffled around, especially older pieces of furniture that have been, you know, kind of all over the place in their lifetime. So, it happens. Move from one place to the next. But the great thing about the vintage furniture, like this particular piece that I'm working on, it's like a piece of trash in my paint, is that they were built so well. The quality and craftsmanship in some of these pieces, you're not finding in today's world, which is unfortunate. You know, everything is particle board or chip wood or, you know, that sort of stuff. So when you have vintage furniture and it's in great shape, solid wood, you know, that's the kind of stuff you want to keep. And so it takes a little bit of time to refabricate it and bring them back and change the life of them a little bit. So we're really changing this. This is definitely, this is going to be in a boy's room, I believe. So this is definitely a Duke blue, if you will, I guess you would say. So you're seeing how that's kind of coming along. So I'm going to continue on. I know there's no need in holding everybody up for tonight. Obviously, I've got my work cut out for me for a while. So I'm going to be out here painting while you guys are enjoying your evening. So I hope everybody has a blessed evening. I'm going to let you all go. I'm just going to continue my process here. And if you guys have any questions, I know we are still waiting shipment on our paint. I have not got it yet. Hopefully it'll be here soon. Coming in out of Florida, so it may take a little bit of extra time getting into us. But we do still have paint out there. I know some of the places are opening up this weekend. And so hopefully if you guys need anything, we'll have some stuff over there. And I believe Cooper's and Nook and Cranny. I know Just Plain Country. A lot of people are opening up Friday. I know I was over at Just Plain Country today, and they were getting ready for people to come in and do some shopping and that sort of thing. So just be careful, everybody, and enjoy getting out and about once again. And I'm going to continue on here. We will show you the progress. Maybe on Thursday we might be working on another piece. We'll see where we are on Thursday, and we'll bring you guys back to see what we're doing here. So I hope everyone has a blessed evening. If you do go out, stay safe, be careful, and let's hope that we can get everything back up and running again, and we will see you guys in person soon. So have a blessed evening, guys, and take care. Bye-bye.